The galaxy had learned to fear many things. The Vrexian warlords with their crimson fleets, the Keltheran hive mind that consumed entire star systems, the ancient nomarchs who bent reality itself to their will. But they had never learned to fear silence. Kylie remembers her full designation in the Terran diplomatic corps stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council station, watching the stars shimmer through the reinforced transperistal. Her presence had become as familiar as the station's own architecture over the past 3 years, yet somehow still invisible to those who mattered most. Another proposal rejected, she said softly to herself, her fingers tightening around the data pad that contained humanity's 14th petition for protected trade routes through the outer reaches. Behind her, the council chamber had emptied. The Vrexian ambassador had literally laughed a sound like grinding metal when she'd presented Earth's concerns about pirate raids on colony supply ships. The Keltheran representative hadn't even bothered to attend. To them, humanity was an afterthought, a species that had stumbled into the galactic community barely 2 generations ago, possessing no great weapons, no vast fleets, no ancient technologies. Just words. Always just words. William Chen sat in the captain's chair of the TCSS Meridian, a aging frigate that had seen better decades. His crew of 43 souls represented one of humanity's few military vessels, operating in deep space not because Earth couldn't build more, but because the Council had strongly discouraged human military expansion. As part of their admission treaties, Captain, we're receiving another distress call, his communications officer reported. Colony vessel New Providence, carrying 4,000 civilians to the Arcturus settlement. They're under attack by Vrexian raiders. William's jaw tightened. This was the 5th attack this month. The Council did nothing. The treaty prevented him from doing much either, unless directly fired upon. How long until they're in weapons range of the colony ship? 8 minutes, sir. He made his decision in 3 seconds. Battle stations. All hands, prepare for combat. Comms, send a message to the raiders, stand down or face consequences. The response came in the form of weapons fire that lit up the meridians forward. Shields, that was all the authorization William needed. The battle was brutal and precise. The meridian was outgunned, outmassed, and outnumbered 3-1. But William had something the Vrexian pirates didn't expect: 3 years of suppressed fury, and the training of a species that had perfected warfare long before reaching the stars. 12 minutes later, the 3 raider ships were debris fields, and the New Providence was safe. 12 hours later, William Chen was in chains. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Kylie stood in the gallery, watching as they dragged William before the assembly in ceremonial restraints, a humiliation reserved for the worst criminals. The human has violated the Treaty of First Contact, the Vrexian ambassador declared, his 3 eyes blazing with manufactured outrage. He has destroyed Vrexian vessels in neutral space. This is an act of war. They were pirates attacking civilians, Kylie said, her voice quiet but clear in the vast chamber. The Council ignored her. They had become quite good at that. The human military vessel must be surrendered to Vrexian justice, the ambassador continued. The captain must face execution for his crimes, and humanity must pay reparations of 10,000 credit bars. Kylie watched William's face. He showed no fear, only a strange, calm acceptance. He had known this would happen. They all had known. But he'd saved those 4,000 lives anyway. This council recognizes the Vrexian claim. The council arbiter announced, the human captain will be transferred to Vrexian custody within the solar day. This matter is concluded. No, Kylie said. The word hung in the air like a grenade with its pin pulled. The arbiter's translator took a moment to process such a simple, direct contradiction. Excuse me. I said no. Kylie walked down from the gallery, her footsteps echoing in the suddenly silent chamber. For 3 years, I have stood before this council. I have filed 47 formal complaints, 18 emergency petitions, and 63 requests for aid. I have presented evidence of treaty violations, of attacks on human civilians, of systematic discrimination against my people. She reached the center of the chamber floor. Standing alone before the assembled powers of the galaxy, you have ignored every single one. You have treated humanity as if we don't exist, as if our lives don't matter. As if our words carry no weight, her voice remained quiet, controlled, but something in it made the ancient chamber feel suddenly smaller. That ends now. You have no authority here. Human, the Vrexian ambassador sneered. I have the authority of a species you've forgotten how to read. Kylie pulled out a small device from her pocket, a simple quantum communicator. You've ignored the quiet human. You've mistaken our patience for weakness, our diplomacy for cowardice, our restraint for inability. She pressed the button dot across the galaxy. Every human vessel received the same 6-word message. The treaty is void. Protocols released. William felt the restraints on his wrists deactivate. Throughout the council station, human security protocols embedded. In nearly every major system, during their years of helpful technical assistance activated simultaneously, the council's sensors suddenly detected what had been hidden in plain sight for 3 years. 47 human dreadnoughts decloaking in the space around the council station. Not aging frigates, not patrol boats, warships that made the Vrexian fleet look like children's toys. You see, Kylie continued, her voice still quiet, still calm. Humanity learned something during our centuries of isolated evolution. We learned that the most dangerous weapon isn't the one everyone can see. It's the one they ignore until it's too late. The council chamber had gone utterly silent. Captain Chen will return to his ship. Humanity withdraws from all council treaties, effective immediately. You have 1 standard week to remove your forces from the 12 systems. You've been protecting for us systems which, coincidentally, we've just heavily fortified. This is an act of war. The Vrexian ambassador roared. No, William said, speaking for the first time, a cold smile on his face. What I did to your pirates was an act of war. This is an act of independence. Over the following months, 3 galactic powers made the fatal mistake of testing humanity's resolve. The Vrexian Empire sent its Crimson Fleet to reclaim what they considered their territory. They met the humans at the Battle of Proxima Reach. Not a single Vrexian ship returned. The Keltheran hive mind attempted to assimilate a human colony, believing their distributed consciousness would overwhelm human defenders. They hadn't accounted for humanity's electronic warfare capabilities, developed over centuries of cybersecurity evolution. The hive mind fractured into 17 separate entities, each too small to pose a threat. The Nomarch Collective tried reality manipulation against the human fleet at Andromeda Gate. But reality manipulation requires understanding your opponent's psychology, their fears, their perception of possibility. They couldn't manipulate what they'd never bothered to study. One by one, the powers that had ignored humanity learned the cost of their arrogance. Not through human aggression. Humanity took no territory, demanded no tribute, sought no empire. They simply bled anyone who threatened them until nothing remained. Kylie stood once more at the observation deck, but this time on Earth's orbital headquarters. William joined her, both of them watching the diplomatic vessels approaching the same council members, who had dismissed them, now coming to sue for peace. They'll want a treaty, William said. They'll get one, Kylie replied. But this time, we write the terms. Think they've learned their lesson? Kylie smiled, quiet and cold. They've learned that silence isn't weakness. They've learned that the quiet human was taking notes the whole time. They've learned that we don't start fights. We finish them, William completed. The galaxy had learned to fear many things. Now they feared one more, the moment when the quiet human finally decided they'd had enough. Because by then, it was already too late. Asterisk.